Hi, welcome back to Bizzie Beez Designs. I'm so glad that you came back and joined us today for part 4 of our Garden Dreams crochet blanket. And just if this is your first time joining us on my channel, I usually talk about crochet designs. I do a lot of prayer shawl designs and also talk about spending time with the Lord. We'll have a devotional, and sometimes there might be a little travel. You get to see some beautiful places that we've had the privilege to visit here and there. And so I hope you enjoy all those things. Plus, also, my brother Cesar Santiago is going to join us, and he's the one that has been choosing the different flowers for the different sections of our blanket. So we have, he comes and shares a short video of what flower or bush or tree that he's chosen for this section of the blanket. And he will tell us a little bit about this plant, and then we'll move on to um, the tutorial after he's done. Okay, so let's go back and look here. Remember, the first section we did was the crocus. The next one was the daffodil. And our third one was the dogwood. So there's pink and white dogwood, so I chose a pink and white yarn for that one. And this is going to be representing our next section that we're going to do. And so let's see what flower that he has chosen for us today that we got this color from. I hope you enjoy his video, and I'll see you back in a few minutes, and we'll do the tutorial. I'll give you instructions on how to do the next section, how to do your increases and everything like that. We'll talk about the yarn that we use. All that information will be next after his video. And then when we're done with the tutorial, I'd like for you just to stay and have a short devotional and see what word the Lord has for us today. So I'll see you back in a few minutes.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Garden Dreams and Other Things. Today we're going to talk about azaleas, and I love talking about azaleas because we have so many in the garden and they're so beautiful in the springtime when they bloom. I look forward to seeing them every year. These are the ones that Mother has put in the garden, and I've added some additional ones called Encore, and we'll talk about those later on. So we have a couple of varieties that I want to talk about. So let's get into it. So the first one I want to talk to you about is the white azaleas. Now this is the first ones that Mother planted in the garden. They're really quite beautiful. And of course they're more than 20 years old. So I had trouble finding out what the name is of this. And so I got on the internet to do some research, and from what I can tell, these are called the Delaware Valley Azalea. And they are the first that bloom in the spring. They have a beautiful white bloom, and I always look forward to seeing them when they come up in the spring. The white azalea is an evergreen, and it's a moderate grower. It forms a compact mounded shape and requires little trimming. It's hardy in zones 5 through 8, and it blooms in mid-spring. And what I like about the white azalea is that it's a heavy bloomer, and the bright white blooms completely cover the whole bush. And with all the other spring flowers that are in bloom in my garden, it's nice to see that beautiful white azalea mixed in with all the other colors of spring. So the second ones I want to talk to you about are the pink azaleas. These two are some of the oldest that she had in the garden, and I believe these are called Formosa azaleas. The pink azalea is also an evergreen. It blooms in mid-spring, and it grows relatively fast and can grow up to a height of 6 to 8 feet. My oldest one that I have here in the garden is 5 feet tall. It grows best with morning sun and afternoon shade, but they're more sun tolerant than other azaleas, and I trim mine once a year after they have bloomed. The blooms are large and vary in shades of color from light to bright pink. And I like these because they are also heavy bloomers, and the blooms completely cover the bush. And it is beautiful to see not only the pink, but the pink that is planted next to the white bush, because they bloom relatively around the same time. And the third one I want to talk to you about is called the Encore Azalea. And the first ones that I planted in my garden was one that the bloom has pink and white stripes, and it's really quite unique, and I love having that as an addition to my garden. Now the Encore Azalea is a little different from the others in that the older ones bloom across the top and around the outer edge of the bush. But with an Encore Azalea, you'll have blooms that will bloom within the bush and bloom across the top. And so that is the difference between the two. And it's a really great addition for the garden. So the advantage of having the Encore Azalea is that they not only bloom in the spring, but they bloom also in summer and fall. And they're more tolerant of full sun. So that gives you the advantage of putting them in other areas of the garden, whereas with the older ones, you have to put them where you have sun in the morning and shade in the afternoon. There's no need for heavy trimming because of its compact shape. It is an evergreen, and it's moderate to fast growth. And I'm looking forward to adding more into the garden because it gives me that advantage of having color, not just in spring, but through the summer and the fall. And finally, the last one I want to talk to you about is the flame azalea. And the flame azalea is native to this area. And what I love about the flame azalea is that it blooms in June. So after all the other azaleas have bloomed and their blooms start to fade, then you see this beautiful bloom of orange, yellow orange to a reddish orange pop up in the flame azalea. What's unique about the flame azalea is when the bloom comes out, it actually will come out at the same time or just before the leaves come out. So when you initially look at the flame azalea, as far as the structure of the bush, it's really kind of thin and wiry. It doesn't have that compact mounding shape that other azaleas have. But it's well worth having it in your garden because you have this beautiful orange color that you'll have in June after all the others have died down. Now it could grow up to 8 feet tall, but it's a beautiful addition to have in the garden. I have 3, and I love having them in the garden. So those are the azaleas that I have here in my garden, and I want to thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I look forward to seeing you join us next time on Garden Dreams and Other Things.
Thanks, Cesar, for sharing with us about that beautiful azalea shrub. And like you said, azaleas come in many different colors. And you can choose one of your favorite colors of azaleas and choose a yarn to match or best represent that color. So are you ready to start our next section? Let's just take a look before we start at the colors that we have here. Isn't that beautiful? I love how one goes to the next, and then this. I really like the color, the pink color that I put in this one. It's bright and it really stands out. So once again, I'm going to show you what yarn that I have chosen for my azalea section. And this yarn that I chose was Premier Bloom DK self-striping floral print. Now, one thing I do need to say about this yarn is that, well, I'll show you the picture here. If you're a knitter, that's how your floral print is going to turn out. When you're crocheting, it shows up a different way. You'll end up having stripes with the different colors in it. I like how it turned out. It doesn't bother me at all that it's not as organized as it is when you're knitting it. So there's that. And I used not totally the whole skein. I have like this much left over for my section. So one skein will do it for the next portion. This has 656 yards. And it's 100% acrylic. The color is apricot blossom. I used several of these in my blanket. I used the purple one for the iris, and then yet another one I used for the hydrangea. I think it's hydrangea blossom. Yeah. So, I like the yarn. I don't know, some people don't like it that much. Anyway, let's get started with this. And once again, I'm using 3-weight yarn, size H hook. And I do want to remind you that you do not have to use the exact same yarn that I have chosen. You can choose another type of yarn or another color if you want. Let me get my yarn here. Okay. And this yarn I ordered off of the Premier Yarns website. And once again, just to recap, this is simple corner to corner. We're just using chain and double crochet stitch. I'll lay that there so you can look at that. And we'll be doing the same as we did with the last one. We continue doing our increases from this corner up to the middle of the blanket, and then at that point we will start doing our decreases. So I'm just going over the same thing again. You probably say, well, I know how to do it now, and you probably do, because we've done, what, 3 sections so far. We're just repeating the same. Where you stopped with the color that you were working with and tied off, that's where we're going to attach our new yarn. Right there. And like I said before, you can use whatever method you use to attach your new yarns. Now I'm going to separate that. That's 1 chain, 2 and 3, and then I'm going to turn my work. Okay. So, and this time I don't think I'll go show me making the whole row, because it's the rows are getting pretty long now. Okay, just to let me move that out of the way. Okay, just to go over how we're doing this, we attached our yarn, and look for the space between your first and second double crochet. Insert your hook and make 2 double crochets in that space. And then we're going to skip 2 double crochets and make 3 double crochets in that space between the groups of 3. 2, 3, again in the space. Another reminder, I'm just doing, for the sample, I'm doing 10 rows of each color, but for the blanket, you'll want to do 20 rows of each color. The other reminder is, if you're using 4-weight yarn, you might not want to do as many rows, because it's going to make a bigger blanket, the 4-weight yarn is. And you'll also use a larger hook for the 4-weight yarn. So you can adjust your pattern that way. Okay. So I just continue going across the row to the very end, and I'm going to pause right here and come back when I get near the end. Okay, I'm getting close to the end, but I wanted to start here because here we have the section showing up that has the green and the white and a darker pink in it. And I'm just going to continue work here, and you can see what it looks like as we crochet along. Excuse me. I like it. It adds a little bit of variety to the blanket, to have these little pops of color show up. Okay, and when we finish this row, this will be row, this is row 61. That's, yeah, you're doing 20 rows per color. So it will be, we're starting with row 61. When we finish this section, we're going to have 80 rows and 80 groups of 3 double crochets. Super easy way to keep up with your stitch count. Oh, I see some dark pink going to show up here. Oh, that's lovely. I like it. I hope that you're enjoying crocheting along with me. And I know it's repetitive. It's a simple pattern, but I hope you enjoy the videos that my brother shares about the different flowers and the different things that he shows you on his little video clip. I hope that you're enjoying that too. Okay, I'm at my very last group of 3, and so I'm going to skip 2 double crochet, and in between the second and third one is where I will insert my hook and do 3 double crochets. And that's how you end your row. And you're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn. What do you think? I like it. I like how that adds that little bit of a different section of color there. And when I work it across, this will probably come across to about right here with that little section of color, and then get back into the peach colors. Okay. So we're looking forward to part 5 next time, and we'll see what flower Cesar has chosen to talk about and what color we're going to be adding to our blanket. And as always, I have a little devotional at the end. I'd like to invite you to join me for that. And we'll see you back next time. I hope you'll come back again and join us and at Bizzie Beez Designs. And so we'll see you then. God bless. Bye. Even though I'm not a gardener, I enjoy the beauty that a garden brings every year. At our home place, where we grew up in East Tennessee, my mother had established a beautiful flower garden around the house and in the backyard. It wasn't a huge garden, yard, or house, but it is a beautiful space. My brother lives there now, and he has maintained that garden area. He's constantly adding to and changing it, incorporating his own style and design. But some shrubs that he has kept are some well-established azaleas, and we all love the color they add to the yard and flower garden. The azaleas symbolize different things, but one that stood out to me is the word resilience. What exactly does resilience mean? I found several definitions, and I'm going to list a few here for us to think about. According to Oxford Languages, resilience is defined as the capacity to withstand or to recover quickly from difficulties. It also means toughness, to successfully navigate and adapt to different situations, maintaining a sense of hope and purpose, steadfastness, endurance. Azaleas are considered resilient because they can tolerate a wide range of conditions. They adapt to their environment, and they can live as long as 20 to 50 years. They have a robust root system, and because of that root structure, they are a stable shrub, which is drought resistant and adaptable. Now let's take that info and apply it to our lives. First of all, how is your root system, and what are you grounded in? So for each area, I'm going to be reading a certain scripture that goes along with that. So let's see what we are grounded in. Ephesians 3:17 says, "And I pray that Christ will be more and more at home in your hearts, living within you as you trust in Him. May your roots grow down deep into the soil of God's marvelous love." Now, are your roots robust, stable, adaptable, drought resistance? Let's look at Jeremiah 17:7-8. "But blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in Him. They will be like a tree planted by the water," just like the tree that we're standing at today, "with its roots in the stream," and this one has its roots near the ocean. "It will not wither when drought comes, and its leaves will be green. It will not be alarmed when the heat comes, because its leaves will not wither, and its fruits will not fail." Now let's see, are you able to withstand or recover from difficulties? James 1:12 says, "Blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial, for when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those who love Him." And in James 1:2-4, it says, "Consider it all joy, my brethren, when you encounter various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance, and let endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing." Can you maintain a sense of hope and purpose in those difficult moments? Isaiah 40:31 states, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." So Lord, we just thank you for all these moments, the difficult and the beautiful. They are all a gift from you, and they make us strong and resilient and fill us with hope in our hearts. And I want to encourage you to remember to seek Him through the wilderness and through the good. Be resilient. Be deeply rooted in the Word and in the Lord.